We do have an update in the case of missing Nokesville man Shane Donahue and Tim Hickerson, the man who is accused of killing him. A grand jury session was held on Monday, May 5th, and the grand jury came back with a true bill of indictment. Now, Virginia is weird because most jurisdictions will either do a preliminary hearing to decide if there's enough evidence to go to trial, or they'll convene a grand jury to decide if there's enough evidence to go to trial. In Virginia, you do both. So we already did the preliminary hearing back in April. A judge in district court decided there was enough evidence, but then they held a grand jury. The grand jury came back with the true bill, and now this case is going to be proceeding in circuit court. This is the true bill for the murder charge. It says that on or about March 22nd, 2010, Timothy Hickerson did feloniously kill and murder Shane Donahue in violation of Virginia Code, blah, blah, blah. That's not all. They also indicted him on a new charge. And those of you who have been following the Monte Coffle case in the same court are familiar with this. Tim Hickerson is charged with concealing a dead body, which is the first charge that Naresh Bhatt was hit with in the disappearance of his wife. Now, what's really interesting is that both of these cases being tried in the same court are no body homicide cases. Monte Coffle and Shane Donahue have not been found. They remain missing. The trial date has also been set. It is going to start on November 10th, 2025. The next time we are scheduled to be in court, however, it's October 29th, and that's for the preliminary hearing. The burglary charge, I don't think you can see it on this, but the burglary charge is still there as well. So now he is being hit with 3 charges. We have burglary, murder, concealing a dead body. The interesting thing also about the grand jury is that as opposed to the preliminary hearing where 10 witnesses were called, it appears as though only 1 witness was called during the grand jury, and it was Detective Seckley with the Prince William County PD. Now, Detective Daniel Seckley works for the Violent Crimes Division, and he's the one who opened the cold case in late March of 2024. He's the one who was in charge of basically reopening Shane's case and bringing the charges against Tim Hickerson. We don't know what happened at the hearing. Grand juries are private, so they're not open to the public, not open to the defense. It was only the prosecution and whatever witnesses or witness they called. The old adage is that a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. It's, apparently a lot easier to get an indictment by a grand jury than it is preliminary hearing, which does make sense because, as I mentioned before, they barely got by the preliminary hearing. So I do find it interesting that they were able to add another charge. Although if you think that you can get him on murder, concealing a dead body is a no-brainer because obviously he hasn't been found. So that's what's going on right now. Like I said, the next hearing is scheduled for October, but something of course may pop up before that. I'll keep you posted. Let me know if you have any other questions.